I actually first met the mayor when we got started with promoting and working on financing this development. And you have been really very helpful to us. We didn't always succeed in some of the things that we wanted to do, but it was really very important to us to know that the chief executive officer of the town was really in back of what we were trying to do. That didn't mean everybody else in town at times were in favor of it, but it helped us prevail. And I would like now to have the mayor just speak briefly also to the board.
One of the difficulties in speaking last is that everything's been said. But again, my thanks to all the parties concerned have been enumerated, the Keeners and everybody involved. And doesn't Jasmine have a great smile, by the way? She lights up the room. Had the opportunity to sneak in her review, and we toured, and she says, I'm here. And to Rich Bonifant, thank you for your honesty, and Reverend Curtis is here to offer you some forgiveness. Perhaps. Redemption. You know, it's interesting, we're talking about affordable housing and some of the stats that were given about homelessness, and coincidentally, tonight, before our council meeting, we will make our first draft presentation of Norwalk's 10-year plan to end homelessness, which was a committee, yeah, go ahead. Committee that it was put together of private citizens and some of the top corporate leaders in the city, from Pepperidge, from GE, from the Norwalk Hospital, the chief executive officer, across the board, Housing Authority, and the draft will be presented to the council for review and discussion about a continuum care to ultimately, and when you say this, people think you're cruel, ultimately the goal is to shut shelters down, because shelters are a symptom of the disease, and we want to have a continuum care where there are facilities where people will not be in the cold, will not be in the street, will have an opportunity for counseling for homes like this. And it is something that we all need. You know, the president has initiated a large fund for ending homelessness, and one of the prerogatives or priorities, if you want to apply for that, is to have the 10-year plan to homeless. So this is our first step, but this sort of fits in with what we've talked about, affordable and workforce. And you know, you mentioned the Beatles and the windy road. I'm a little older. I go back to Dwayne Eddy, and he had 40 miles of bad road. And there was occasionally when that road got very bumpy. You know, we talk about political capital. There's also a word that goes after political heat, too. But that's part of the job, and every elected official here understands that. And certainly, hopefully more of the council people will come and have an opportunity to view what has been built here, to get rid of the stereotypes of the people that live and what type of units they live in. There's one final note I hope you'll allow me, and all the residents here I know are wonderful people, but I do have a little bit in my heart for, and I understand there's at least 5 veterans that are living in this facility, maybe a 6th. And all of us, of some form or another, have stood at a parade and saluted our veterans or various events and said thank you to our veterans, and whether they're currently serving currently or in the present or moved on from Afghanistan or Iraq or in other wars, we've always thanked them, we've saluted them. I can think, you know, I served for 4 years, but certainly not under the conditions that some of our veterans returning home now have served. The trauma, the shock, the tragedies they've seen, and the horrific things they've seen that can shock the sensibilities of anybody. I am just so grateful, and I think in our small way, this is another way of saying thank you to them, to our veterans who have protected us and have given their all. And I just hope as we move down the road, as we hear more and more veterans coming home facing problems that may be homeless, that we continue to have facilities like this, not just across Norwalk, but across the state and across the country. There's no doubt we owe them so much. So once again, thank you for all the efforts to the Keeners and everyone. And a little special thought to my good friends, Paul Jones is probably looking down right now saying, finally. So God bless you all, and thank you for your work.